Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, today's video is just an update on my injury progression. So I have just finished my second week back after taking about 5 or 6 weeks off from injury, and I'm gonna tell you about the runs that I've done, how everything's been going. We're gonna run through some of my activities this week. Spoiler, it's pretty good news. I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, before we go any further, I just wanna give a shout out to Swiftwick Socks. They sent me another pair of socks. And if you don't run in specific running socks, I encourage you to take a look at Swiftwick. They're linked below. These are the Maxis. So I am gonna crack these open, put them on and go for a run. Then we're gonna talk about my injury recovery so far. Second week back. All right, my friends, great run. Well, let's talk about my last week, my second week back after injury. So, I was actually running an errand today, and that's why I had to run here, pick up a car. But you folks that have been following me for a little while, you may be wondering about how I've been coming back from this injury. It's always a little tricky to take those first steps, to know when to come back, because you know, you get a little gun shy, you start feeling little feelings and you think, is that still the injury? By the way, the weather on this run where I just came to pick up this car, I tell you, everybody would live in Florida if we could have weather like this all the time. 59 degrees, the sun is shining, the humidity is low. 59, of course, is 15 degrees Celsius. So just a lovely run. So my second week of running, you know, I went into the second week feeling pretty good. I was still feeling a little bit of feeling kind of in my lower butt, hips, that I thought I had the issue before. But it wasn't enough to stop me, because I got that diagnosis of, well, not a diagnosis, but I was told what it wasn't, and it wasn't a stress fracture and it wasn't a nerve impingement. That gave me the confidence to run. So my second week started off with 7.01 miles at an 8:08 per mile pace. The next day was 8.01 miles at a 7:54 pace. Followed up with an 8.62 mile run at a 7:43 pace. The next day was when I tested out those Atreyu shoes. They're pink, white and yellow. Gorgeous shoes. Ran 11.01 miles that day, an average pace of 7:46. Those shoes just encouraged me to pick up the pace a little bit. After that, 6.21 miles. I think I was busy that day. That's why I only ran a 10K at an 8:09 mile. This day is when I really started feeling good on my run. I went out, ran 7.2 miles. It was a very early run. It says here 4:24 in the morning, and my average pace was 7:51. That started off easy, and then I threw in some 1-minute intervals or pickups. I think they weren't as fast as strides, so let's call them 1-minute intervals. And I haven't done that in so long because of the injury, and it felt really good. Like, that made my whole day better, running, picking up the pace and running just a bit faster than I usually do. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it so much that the next day I ran 7.11 miles at an average pace of 7:30 a mile, and I threw in some tempo efforts, and again, feeling pretty good. Now, I haven't had, oh, can I actually say that? Yeah, I think I can say that. I haven't had any feeling of injury this past week. So my second week, I haven't had any feeling of injury. I was able to pick up the pace. It's actually got me thinking about racing again and trying to actually go out and start training properly for something. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I've got some things to test. I still have to do my, I forget what they call it on the Polar watch, but the VO2 max test. I am getting the Polar H10 heart rate monitor chest strap, so that's gonna make that a lot easier to do that. Anyway, I guess in a nutshell, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to be feeling good and actually enjoying running and getting out there and picking up the pace more than I have done. How was your weekend, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing interest in my injury. I know, listen, we're all just a couple of bad decisions away from being injured. I am hoping that you make good choices with your running, as I will continue to try to do moving forward. Being injured is no fun. Not running is no fun. Oh, I know one more thing. So my buddy Joseph Cumming, he kind of called me on it. So if you look at my Strava, you're gonna see the weeks where I did nothing. You're gonna see the week that I kind of tested it out, ran a couple of miles. And then all of a sudden I start feeling good, stop getting injured, and my mileage jumps up. So he called me on the 10% rule. I just kind of feel that I can move forward and increase my mileage more than 10%. And I think that subject actually deserves its own video, because the 10% rule, it's one of those things. You've heard me say it 100 times. You've heard it from other people. You read it in magazines. You see it on websites. Don't increase your mileage more than 10% a week or you're going to get injured. That's not true in every single case, but I'm going to leave it there because I think I'm going to do a whole video on that. If you have any thoughts on that, go ahead and write in the comments below. But guys, we're going to tie this up right here. Thanks for staying all the way to the end. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.